A while ago now, I made a video talking about how Conan the Barbarian, the franchise or IP for the comic books, had been moved over to Titan Publishing, who make a lot of sort of movie tie-in comics, etc. And, I said maybe because the Conan comics haven't been great for a while, I thought that perhaps maybe they're in better hands over at Titan with some, fresh new faces, writing and drawing, etc. And that maybe we would get something interesting out of it. And the comics are released. We have The Savage Sword of Conan, and we have Conan Battle of the Black Stone. Now, I've read these, and I have some things to say. So let's dive in and let's see if Conan is actually in better hands with Titan Publishing. And it's not a straightforward, simple, answer. So, the first one that was released was The Savage Sword of Conan. And this is the one I have the most to say about because it's released in full, whereas Battle of the Black Stone is still ongoing, so we can't really dive too much into that. But let's talk Savage Sword of Conan. It starts off very standard story-wise. I'll throw some art up on the screen. It's all in black and white, and immediately alarm bells were ringing in my head, and my initial impression was, oh no. That's honestly how I felt when I started reading this. And as I was flicking through the pages, I was like, yeah, it's a first issue. Could have potentially new buyers, etc. They've decided to go that route of really, acting like you've never read Conan before and don't know who he is, sort of thing. Let's go. But I noticed some things with the art as well. The art is inconsistent. And it's all in black and white, by the way. And they do this really cheap thing where their artist is clearly drawing individual characters and pieces as a PNG and then digitally just splicing them all on top of each other with these cheap outlines. And can I just say right now, if you're a comic book creator, don't do that. If you're paying an artist to draw your comic book and they're doing this thing, fire them. It's that simple. Don't do that. It doesn't look good. It's never looked good. And prove me wrong in the comments. If you've seen a comic book do that and it's looked good, show me. Okay? Because I haven't seen one and I read a lot of things. So that was the first thing. As I went, it's 100% digital and they're using every shortcut they can. And I felt like it was kind of cheap. Now, on top of that, it wasn't just that technique and the fact that it's all in black and white. The faces of the characters is so inconsistent. There's a female drawn in this, and she definitely is traced. There's no doubt in my mind about it. They traced someone for that. You can just tell. It's 100% different to everyone else drawn in the comic. The face is different, and it just screams traced. From an experienced eye who's looked at this stuff, I'm definitely saying that was traced. There's this weird panel where Conan himself looks like a lion. I don't know why. There were lions drawn on the same page, but for whatever reason, Conan himself has a lion's nose and mouth, and I don't get it. So that was another big thing. But the worst thing for me is page 21. And look, I've read Conan, I've watched Conan, I've played Conan. I'm familiar with this. And so a dinosaur attacks the fort. Okay. It's a 3D model. And it's not even edited. It's just put in the art with the crappy background, and you can see the digital textures on it, and it's a static 3D model of a dinosaur, and it looks fucking terrible. And at that point, I was starting to doubt myself. I'm really holding back how disappointed I was between the inconsistent art, repeating assets, the poor faces, the cheap overall look of it, and the fact that they've literally just pulled an ISOM and thrown a 3D model into the comic, and it takes up like 80% of the page, and they're like, no one's going to notice this. And they've just thrown it in there. It's so bad. It's so bad. And not like Power Glove bad, just bad. Just bad. And so Savage Sword of Conan, not worth reading. It's not good. It's clearly cheap. It's poorly put together. Whoever's behind it just really didn't care. And this is the establishing comic. This is the comic that, you need people to want more of so that they buy the next comic you release. So that was really upsetting because, who doesn't love Conan? Moving on. Conan Battle of the Black Stone. Still Titan Comics, different team writing and drawing it. And thank whoever for that. Okay. Immediately, one, it's in color. Two, it doesn't look bad. It's clearly a unique art style drawn by humans. And while, I can't speak for the story because it's not complete yet, just having color and art, like this is a comic. You'll see the images on the screen, right? This is a comic that someone gives a shit about. This is a comic that someone says, you know what? No, I'm not going to phone this in. I actually care about Conan. And I want to tell a good story, and I care about my art. And the difference is night and day in terms of like pulling me in and wanting to continue reading this. This one I do want to continue reading. It hasn't blown me away so far, and I'm going to avoid spoilers, but the art more than makes up for it. And yeah, it's leagues better than the Savage Sword of Conan. And so if you're going to read any of these, read Conan Battle of the Black Stone. Okay? Read that one. Don't even bother with Savage Sword of Conan. It's not good. There's currently 2 issues out as of now. There will be more. But that's the one. That's the the comic. And now I'm frustrated because I have to answer the question. I posed it many moons ago. Will Conan be in better hands with Titan Publishing? And it pains me to say, I don't know. I really don't know. Because we've had one awful comic that's, everything you don't want your comic to be. And then we have this other comic, which is actually pretty good. So if one's good and one's bad, that's a 50%. That means like it's a coin toss whether the next one's going to be good or not. There's no consistency here. And the answer, unfortunately, just like in the last one, is we have to wait and see. If you like Conan and you want to read more Conan, check out Battle of the Black Stone, because I'm willing to go ahead and say that's probably going to end really well based on what I've read so far. Definitely don't check out Savage Sword of Conan. Even if you have no idea what Conan is, you're young, you don't remember the movies, anything like that, or you haven't played the games, steer clear of Savage Sword of Conan. It's terrible. It's almost a did not finish for me. If it wasn't for making this video, I wouldn't have bothered reading the whole thing. And yeah, I guess that's the end of this video. Is Conan in better hands at Titan Publishing? I have no fucking idea.